coverage you can count on.
Right now on Daybreak, jury deadlock. The judge declaring a mistrial in a Tallahassee quadruple murder.
Also, development concern. Residents living near a proposed housing subdivision speaking out on the idea, how they say it could affect their existing neighborhoods.
And a photo shoot that will definitely have you saying all this morning. Here's a hint. It involves puppies. I'll show it to you and more in your WCTV must-see.
Here's a live look outside our WCTV studios on this Thursday morning. Might be another hot day.
Yeah, not
No
such
light
a
about it.
bad start.
Definitely another hot day.
Yeah. It was hot yesterday.
It was.
Really hot. Maybe it felt a little less sticky. And we certainly had fewer showers, but no rain. There's a look at the radar picture. And similarly today, I do see that low-level moisture out there, so we're going to have plenty of that icky, sticky factor. But I think today's more about the heat than the humidity compared to maybe earlier this week when it was a lot more about the humidity than the actual heat. We see a line of showers off to the west. Boy, it'd be nice if we could bring this boundary all the way down into the southeast and sweep out this hot, humid air mass. But it's too early in the year for that to happen. Our futurecast shows some showers trying to get going today, and maybe from a little different direction. I think better shots to see some of those showers will be in eastern areas today, as we're still talking about a little ridge of high pressure working its way back across the Gulf. But for most of us, another hot one. Look at the temperatures this morning, not cooling off yet. 79 still in Thomasville. We're at 78 in Tallahassee. Got a bunch of 77s for Bainbridge, for Camilla, for Moultrie, for St. Marks, for Live Oak. Visibility numbers are going to get a little reduced in Perry, already down to 5 miles, and we'll find some more patchy fog out there today. I think we're near 90 at noontime and back into the mid-90s with more hot, more humid, and hopefully some scattered showers, guys. We'll break it all down in just a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks for that, Rob. New this morning, one person is dead after being hit by a car in Liberty County.
FHP says the crash happened on Highway 20 just west of Dempsey Barron Road on Wednesday night. Troopers say 24-year-old Rachel Sims was driving when her vehicle drifted onto the shoulder of the road, hitting and killing a 45-year-old man. His name has not been released. Sims' 2-year-old child was also in the car. Troopers say that Sims was not wearing her seatbelt.
I don't think there's any recourse other than to declare a mistrial.
A quadruple murder trial in Tallahassee ends with a hung jury. The judge declaring a mistrial for Henry Segura after 2 days of jury deliberation. So what happens next? Our Julie Montanaro was in the courtroom for the announcement.
Henry Segura shaking hands with his attorneys just moments after a hung jury forces a mistrial in his quadruple murder case.
Obviously, we're very disappointed we didn't get a verdict out of this, but we will be trying this again and trying to get justice in the long run.
Is this a win for the defense?
No, no. We wanted Henry to walk out of here with us.
The first sign of trouble, a note sent out by the jury at 2 o'clock Wednesday telling the judge they were at an impasse. The judge telling them to try again.
You may now retire to continue with your deliberations.
Then, more than 4 hours later, another note saying the same thing.
After continuing discussion with the jury, we disagree.
19 hours of deliberation ends in deadlock. The jury unable to agree on whether this was a child support-fueled rage or a drug debt hit carried out by the cartel.
It's difficult to read what's going on back there. There's no way of predicting what a jury's going to do.
With the court's thanks, I'll let you step out.
Frustration high on both sides. Brandy Peters' family anxious for justice nearly 7 years after the crime. Henry Segura behind bars for 6 years, awaiting his day in court.
The wheels of justice turn slowly, but they do turn.
Now he'll be tried again with a whole new jury. The question is, when? Julie Montanaro, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Segura will be back in court next week as the judge sets a new trial date. Neither family wanted to comment on camera.
A Franklin County couple faces child neglect charges. Investigators arrested Stephen and Stormy Shiver this past weekend. Detectives say their toddler was found wandering in the road. They also say an infant was left all alone in their trailer crawling on the floor. Thankfully, neither child suffered any injuries.
An FHP troop commander under fire for alleged ticket quota scandal is now stepping down. Major Mark Welch runs Troop H, which covers 8 local counties. Welch sent a memo to local troopers last week, telling them that they weren't writing enough tickets. State highway officials, though, say quotas are illegal. Welch's last day is September 4th.
Tallahassee residents living on the north side of town are speaking out against a proposed development. Right now, there's a plan to build a Brookside Village residential subdivision between Moore Pond and Oxbottom Manor. That's across from Rose Hill neighborhood. Community members telling the Development Review Committee the new development is not compatible with the surrounding neighborhoods.
Brookside is not by a brook. And to me, that's just an indication of not having values in the right place. Additionally, I share all of our neighbors' concerns about the runoff and the water flow.
Brookside would house 61 units on 8 acres.
Making national headlines this morning, a memorial service happening today for the woman killed when a car rammed into a group of counter-protesters on Saturday.
Meanwhile, President Trump held a combative news conference at Trump Tower on Tuesday, once again blaming both sides there in Charlottesville for the race-fueled violence over the weekend. Both Democrats and some Republicans quickly condemned the remarks.
Also happening today, a very iconic day. 40 years ago, the man known to many as the King of Rock and Roll died.
Well, CBS's Mola Lingy joins us now live from Elvis's Graceland estate in Memphis, Tennessee. And Mola, looking back, Elvis, a rock and roll original, that's for sure, huh?
Well, he was a very iconic figure, Art. You know, perhaps the most iconic in all of American pop culture history. You know, this is a guy who, you know, when fans describe the pleasure of meeting him, even those brief encounters with him, they describe as life-changing, often religious encounters almost. You know, there was Elvis the rock star, who at the time had a sound and a voice and a style that had really never been seen or heard before. Even today, he is the best-selling solo artist of all time, nearly 40 years after his death. There was also Elvis the movie star, so there were a lot of fans who were attracted to him in that way. There was Elvis the sex symbol. And, you know, Elvis's impact also goes far beyond rock and roll. He helped to usher in an entire new brand of music, really, and helped to break down social and racial barriers, I'm told, you know, by embracing the African-American music scene in the 1950s and 60s at a time where there was a lot of resistance to that, and helping bring that to the mainstream audience. So Elvis certainly much bigger than a rock and roll star.
Definitely had a huge impact. That's why thousands of people from all over the country and all over the world are expected to travel there to Graceland. So what are we expecting today? What's happening there?
Well, this is really it's been a 10-day event. So we're about 3/4 of the way through today, where you know, fans have had a chance to obviously listen to a lot of Elvis music and meet some of his old friends and some of his old songwriters and his old producers. There have been concerts, all sorts of events. But the big one, the main attraction, so to speak, began last night around 8 p.m. It was a candlelight vigil where fans got to light their candles, sort of walk the long driveway past the Graceland mansion to Elvis's gravesite, pay their respects. That was almost 10 hours ago that it started. There are still a few hundred fans out here early this morning, still honoring the King and paying their respects.
All right, again, Mola Lingy reporting live from Memphis today. Thank you so much. How many other artists can have this kind of following 4 decades after their death? So kind of amazing. Appreciate that.
That was 5:07.
All right, Charlene Crispaul with our WCTV must-see. Charlene?
All right, good morning, guys. Newborn baby photo shoots are cute, right? But what about newborn puppy photo shoots? It's a thing now. A photographer from Richmond, Virginia decided to do that with a litter of homeless shelter Chihuahua puppies, Tito, Messi, and Lovebug. There's the 3 of them there. Even Mom Paris, who you see here, was ready for her close-up. The pups are all available for adoption in Virginia. And it turns out chimpanzees can understand rock, paper, scissors. Look at that. The chimp is picking the correct one to win in the game. Japanese primatologists figured out after this experiment at the Primate Institute in Kyoto, the chimps were able to pick the winning hand signs in the game in exchange for some treats. They say the chimp's performance was comparable to a 4-year-old child, but the primate took longer to grasp the game than kids. How smart, though?
Interesting. They're really smart animals, yeah.
They're very, very smart. I just wonder what would one do if you actually slapped his hand like you're supposed to on, rock, paper, scissors. Might not turn out
Wait, you're
so
supposed
well.
to,
You
you're supposed
probably
to slap
would.
the hand? I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you lose, then you get your hand
Oh,
slapped. So
no, I didn't play like that as a kid.
I had many a raw hand.
You were very violent as a kid.
Many a raw
Were you supposed to
Art
hit
plays
people?
the hardcore version of the game.
I never hit anybody, did you?
No, but that's okay.
Okay, you played the game
The
wrong, I think.
hardcore is the slugs.
Yeah.
You don't want that one.
No,
Played the game.
those are different games you get into bigger trouble with. We've got lots to get to with the weather forecast. I think today is going to be sort of a repeat of yesterday, and that means more hot. We've got green all over the place here, but that's just that low-level moisture being picked up, and we will be on the lookout for more of that fog. Here's a little wider view. We can see way off to the north and west that there is a little line of showers. There's a boundary up there, but of course we're stuck on the south side of that boundary, bottled up in this warm, humid air mass, and not much expected to change anytime soon. 24-hour temperature cast, kind of like yesterday, wants to get us quickly up to and into the 90s. We did top out at 96 officially yesterday, and we'll probably see numbers close to it again this afternoon, and those long duration of low to mid 90s when you have to wait until much later in the afternoon for those showers, and some spots never getting the showers. There should be some, but it's not going to be as widespread as we saw earlier this week. All right, we're still checking out Hurricane Gert, Category 2 storm, winds at 100 miles per hour, and as it is hauling off to the east-northeast at 39 miles per hour, it's likely going to start to transition to one of those extratropical systems